Hello and welcome back to Pac-Man World! And no, this is not the repack, this is actually the original game on the PS1. I did say I did record it, and I did, as I say, as far as, King Galaxian boss fight. So yeah, as you can see, this is late 90s CGI. Looks very good, actually, especially with the cartoon sound effects. The one thing you'll notice in the intro is that Pac-Man's family don't get, dare I say, attacked by the ghosts in the original game. Instead, what happens is that they get attacked by the various bosses. That anchor there, that's from HMS Windbag. That giant mummy hand that took away the Pac dog was pretty much Anubis Rex, and this weird UFO so-called Professor Pac here, that is actually King Galaxian abducting him, seriously. The main story is the same, seriously. And this character here, that is actually Pac-Man Jr. And that giant robotic claw who doesn't choose who goes and who stays, that is actually the Chrome Keeper, seriously. And he just kidnapped Pac-Man Jr. And lo and behold, there is Miss Pac-Man. And she does get a few more lines than well, maybe not. Pac-Mom did get a few in the original, but yeah, and oh boy, that whole horror thing, seriously. And the thing about Pac-Man here, he doesn't look any older than Pac-Man Jr. in this thing. I mean, he has the same character design. He's still like same style as Max Fleischer, early Walt Disney style, but I don't know. Pac-Man Jr. seriously is seemingly only younger looking than the thing. Anyway, yeah. This game was actually released in 1999 apparently, even though the original game was released in 1990, so yeah. So that being said, yeah, this is Pac-Man World, and we'll get to the main thing of the game a bit later, but I'm just going to cover the main gameplay in this episode. So yeah, the quest is pretty much the thing. You can also play the mazes as well. And yeah. Another thing of note, this does have voice acting, and oh boy do I love Toc Man's voice in this, seriously. Apparently, someone drops the thing and Pac-Man seemingly wants revenge, seriously.
No, you idiots! I wanted gold streamers and red balloons! The DJ stinks, the banners are crooked, and the cake should be chocolate! You're gonna ruin my party!
Boss!
What do you want?
Pac-Man's here, on Ghost Island! The Pac-Man! I mean that pathetic fool, trying badly I might add, to impersonate you, who is clearly the real Pac-Man.
I thought you had captured Pac-Man!
We did, see? Oops.
If I had a Power
A
Pellet,
slight error on our part. Believe me, it won't happen again.
You idiots! My plans are already in motion! Pac-Man cannot be allowed to crash my party! Find him and destroy him!
Seriously, Toc Man in this version seems to mean business here. Anyway, that being said, let's get to the gameplay of Pac-Man. And why not go off the most famous trait of Pac-Man, the Power Pellet? Yes, unlike in the remake, Pac-Man does not grow big and just behaves like he would in the original arcade game, just basically eating the ghosts. And, I mean, like with both versions, the ghosts turn blue. You can eat them, but be careful because you can take damage as well. Honestly, I did think the giant Pac-Man in V-Pack was kind of overpowered, if you know what I mean, kind of OP. The butt bounce, well, still good actually. Perhaps not as precise as in the remake, but still pretty good. Seriously. And likewise, you can still control Pac-Man with the analog sticks. It came out in 1999, not 1996. Yeah, otherwise you couldn't do it. And kind of be a bit more jarring to control. Kind of like in Crash 1, really. Otherwise. Anyway, that being said, the other thing of note, the other thing of note is, of course, the rev roll. I want to look at that, of course. Pac-Man can still fire out the pellets with the circle button. And he can still rev roll with the triangle button. So yeah, that has not changed between versions. So yeah, let's see. Can't bounce up there, but there are also switches in here. The other thing of note is the music. It's because of compression issues, of course. It is of quite considerably lower quality in the PS1 version. You can tell with Buccaneer Beach's music. In addition to the music, to be fair, that was remixed. Buccaneer Beach isn't one of them. It is actually the original source track. Well, never mind that. Let's get some more things there. And yes, the elevators are still here as well. They behave the same. In fact, yeah, the butt bounce. That's still quite awesome, actually, bouncing around like that. Seriously. You can bounce Pac-Man like a freaking beach ball here. Now, here with the butt bounce on those springs, it's not exactly as precise as in the remake, but it'll do at least. Seriously. Likewise, the metal dot is needed to go underwater. Also, Pac-Man's swimming controls are quite a bit different. He does not sink like in the remake. Instead, what happens is that you have to press up or down, which isn't so bad in this and the other harbour stages, but when you get to levels like down the tubes, for example, it can be annoying. Seriously. It is much easier to control in that level. Seriously. And the metal dot still works as well as it does. He still moves slower underwater, does Pac-Man in the original version. And you kind of see there, so yeah. That must have been a thing with many underwater levels. The amount of times in Labyrinth Zone, my least favorite underwater zone in the Sonic games, for example. And speaking of Sonic games, let's test this game's version of the Spin Dash. Yes, like with the Spin Dash, the rev roll is built up, and yeah, sometimes it can be quite overpowered as well against enemies because you can completely miss them and go barreling off the edge of a cliff. As you'll see, I think, in the tomb stages, which I know I'm going to cover that because it happens after HMS Windbag, which I will be covering in the next episode. Yes, this actually might well be, I might cover quite a bit of the original game that I did cover. Perhaps even some of the later stages, which I didn't record, so yeah, I've got rid of the game since then. It's pissed me off with the King Galaxian boss fight. Anyway, that being said, yeah, elevators, they behave the same, as I say. Though you do have to get Pac-Man in the middle of the thing, otherwise they won't work. That's the only major difference with the elevators in the original game here. And likewise, we have to deal with the cannons, of course. No easy mode here, of course. That was only in Repack. So yeah. Another thing of note: these switches are not numbered. That made it a bit easier actually in the remake, but as I say, Pac-Man World is by no means a very, very difficult game. It's a difficult game in the later stages, don't get me wrong, but not a completely difficult game. So yeah. Honestly, I don't mind the things not being numbered, to be honest. It adds a bit more of a puzzle element to the original game by comparison. But yeah. Also, there are automated areas which you can do, which Pac-Man will chomp the pellets to get over there. Not in all things, because there is one stage in the graveyard stages towards the end of the game before you fight Toc Man, in which there isn't, which they did add to the remake. Seriously, honestly, this is very, very detailed as far as PS1 games go. Seriously. And at this point, I think I thought I had the thing, but no. The actual fruit is over there. So what does that give us? More ghosties, of course. Because the fact we are playing with a PS1 game, I'm guessing Namco didn't put any. They just made the ghosts just as colourful as ever without giving them any gimmicks. Another thing of note, at the end of the stage, there is no Toc Man statue. You don't have to ground pound it. Like before, you do have to get the pack letters, however, to open the bonus stage. But we'll get to that. Anyway, that's that for the first part of the Let's Look at Pac-Man World. On the next episode, we'll look at HMS Windbag. So yeah, I'll see you then. Goodbye!